Video game movies have been on the rise in the past few years, especially with the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out this year and broke box office records. But please, for the love of God, please stop making boring, mediocre ones like this. Welcome back, film fans. It is Brad from Let's Breelwithb Brad. I talk about movies, TV shows, ranking videos, as well as physical media. So if that is something that you are interested in, then please hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Now on to the review. Gran Turismo is another video game film that is being released in a few weeks on my birthday, which is August 25th. As I had an early screening to check out this film, all the trailers and marketing for this film is all about that underdog story that people just love, like the Rocky movies or Creed movies or whatever. But as I sat down to go check out this film, in the beginning of the film it says it's based on a true story, which I had seen in the trailers, but Sony is not marketing that really all that much, and I probably would have been more excited to check this movie out. But besides all that, this movie is just a really long, dull, mediocre film that, to be honest, I wouldn't even really want to watch again. My biggest problem with this film is that it is a very formulaic, stereotypical, checklist type of film that doesn't really feel all that engaging, especially with the presentation and the direction by Neill Blomkamp, who I think is a really good director, but after doing District 9, which is a fantastic science fiction film, it just seems like he hasn't had a good movie since. Now, let's start off with my positives first, and I want to start off with the performances here, and with David Harbour and Orlando Bloom having the best performances in this movie. They are very talented actors who have been in very good movies and shows, and I just really enjoyed them in these roles. What I also really enjoyed about this film was that there was a lot of racing in this movie, and you're probably thinking, Brad, it's a Gran Turismo movie, of course there's going to be racing, but there have been so many racing type movies where there's not a lot of racing in it, and this movie is filled to the brim with so many racing scenes that are actually filmed quite decently and have a lot of edge and tension to those scenes, and it definitely made this movie way more entertaining, and they are actually probably one of my favorite aspects about this film. While I was complaining earlier about the very typical underdog story, this movie does have quite a bit of emotion to its story, and I really did enjoy the more emotional scenes between our lead character and his father, as I really enjoy the relationships that they had with one another and just that drive to be the best when everybody's counting you out. I mean, this is something that I think we all face in our everyday lives. Unfortunately, I do have quite a few criticisms with this film, and I do have to start with the runtime. This movie clocks in over 2 hours and 15 minutes or so, and I found this movie to be way too long. I know there is a lot of very long racing scenes, which are some of the best parts of the movie, and maybe it wouldn't feel as bad if the script was better and the more dialogue heavy scenes were more interesting. But all the dialogue scenes in this movie are really generic and basic, and it feels like it's targeting more of a wide general audience. The presentation of this movie is just so damn boring. I found the cinematography to be so lackluster and mediocre, and just not feeling the energy that this movie wants me to feel, because the racing scenes, while they're done in a decent way, could have been so much better. There's really not a lot of great shots in this movie, with even the car racing scenes to be okay, but when it has so much editing constantly and not flowing like it should, it does feel very distracting and very choppy. This movie is also one of the cheesiest movies I have seen this year, as there is a few slow motion moments where a character will go, and it'll be all slow-mo, and it is one of the worst things I have seen this year. It is so incredibly bad and annoying, and I think one of those moments is in the trailer, and it is just so painfully awful. I just could not stand it. One of my biggest issues with this film is the performance of Archie Madekwe. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I found him to be really underwhelming in this film, and I didn't really feel like he fit the part here, as I just didn't really care for his performance all that much. But I don't know if it's just a directing sort of thing or it's a mix of both, because he is in Midsommar in a smaller role, and I really enjoyed him in that film. But in here, I just thought that he wasn't all that great. I don't want to be too harsh on him, because while it is a negative, I didn't think he was awful in this movie by any means, but because he is the lead character of the film and the movie is about his character, I just found that it did bring the movie down just a bit. There are moments sprinkled throughout the film where he does a really great job, and it's in more of the more emotional moments that I thought he did a really great job in. But when it came to more of the sports, competitive racing aspect, I just didn't feel like he was the guy that was trying to be the best racer in this competition. It just felt like it was an actor on the screen trying to be a racer, and that just didn't really work for me. Overall, guys, the Gran Turismo film is another mediocre to sort of teetering bad video game movie adaptation based on a real person's life type of film that really could have been so good, especially for the fact that you have Jaden Martinborough, who this movie is based off of, as a co-producer, a stunt driver, and a consultant on this movie, and the movie still falls flat. If you are interested in seeing this film, then definitely go check this out at a matinee showtime, or at least just on a discount Tuesday, because I just didn't think this movie was really bad by any means, but it just felt very forgettable, and I'm definitely not going to see this film again. I'm giving Gran Turismo a 5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you seen Gran Turismo, and where would you rank it in your video game movie adaptations? I would love to hear about it. And as always, I will see you guys all in the following video.